Our typical client is going to be a family that has either gone to assisted living, or perhaps a family has lost a loved one and they have a property that needs everything in the house sold. And many times they're trying to sell the property, and so they've got to have an empty house before they can proceed with that process. And so an estate sale, what that does, it enables the family to have the entire contents of the house, the garage, the yard, the patio, sold through a professionally run estate sale. Typically, an estate sale will take us about a week. We start on a Monday, staging, putting research into place, putting the entire house into order like a store, turning it into a place that's easy to navigate, that's easy for people to walk through, a pleasant, well-lit, beautifully sorted and categorized experience for people. And by setting up a house like a store, it can be an inviting situation. It can be easy for someone to walk through and see exactly what the family has to offer in that estate. And we try to be sensitive to the family as well, because it's a very emotional process that they go through. When you're getting rid of family heirlooms that you've had for maybe perhaps even generations, then this can be a tough thing to go through. And so we like to, hold hands when we can and just be as empathetic as possible, because, some of us have aging parents. We're about to go through the same process ourselves. And so we know what's happening here, and we want to just be as sensitive to the whole process and to make it a successful sale so that there is absolutely nothing left in the house when we finish. And that's typically what our clients ask for. We charge strictly on a percentage of the total sales, and we like to make it all-inclusive, easy for the customer to understand. Typically, what I've heard is many of our competitors will charge a la carte charges. In other words, they may charge a fee to clean up the house, to stage the house, to discard of the contents that haven't been sold. Well, what we found is people like an all-inclusive, one price that they can get their hands around. They don't want to be necessarily nickel and dimed and have all these extra fees come up. They want to know exactly what is going to be charged for the service. And we don't quote that fee until we see exactly what it is that's going to be in the sale for us to. We like to get together with the family and find out what they want to keep and what they would like sold in an estate sale. And since that's an emotional process, we ask them to take as long as they need to do, to sort through items, to see what needs to be sold, what needs to be kept in the family. Typically, there may be a large family Bible. Well, that is something that we encourage them to hang on to, because that's something you want to pass down from generation to generation. So it's things like that have great significance and a lot of meaning to a family. We say, hang on to those things. And when you finish the process of sorting through, culling, then we like to come in and say, okay, we think there either is or there is not enough to do an estate sale. If there is, then we'll give them a proposal on the spot and sign a one-page agreement that both parties agree to. We ask that the family not be involved in the process, and most of the time the family doesn't want to be involved in the process anyway, because it is such an emotional thing to go through, seeing your family heirlooms sold and taken away in a truck or a pickup. And so many times the client understands. Occasionally they're so emotionally attached that they don't understand the process, and we have to explain it, that it is a very difficult thing for us to get our job done if family members are involved. So we ask that no one live in the home during the process, that no one come back and visit the estate. What we ask is that they pull everything out that they want to keep first before we even begin the process. And then once that's finished, then we sell everything, usually within a week's time. Downsizing estates began in 2006, And so we've got some years behind us. We've had a lot of trial and error over the years, but we like to feel like we put together a pretty good product for the client. We offer extensive research on the items that we're selling for the client, because there's a big advantage to knowing what values are, what we think the market will bear and bring for the client. So with our research, we also have an excellent staff. Many of them have been with us since we began. We have a speed factor. We can usually finish the sales in 1 week or less. And our customer service detail is, we like to think, unequaled. We want this to really be the least of their worries, because there's a lot of stress in moving, relocating. There's a lot of stress when there's been a family death. And so by lessening all that stress and professionally taking care of an estate sale for the client and leaving the house completely empty, swept, vacuumed, ready for the realtor to complete a real estate transaction so that the family can get on with the next episode of their life.